rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fam's on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the result. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena on. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcast it like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be, what's good? It's your number one chief rocker. Uncle Freezie is in the building. What's good, y'all? Look at all my people in the chat, man. What's good? What's good? What's good? It's good to see y'all, man. So I think tonight we are going to have a conversation, something different. I think we're going to talk about some Karl-Anthony Towns, right? I think we're going to talk some Karl-Anthony Towns. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I see somebody backstage. Hold on. What's up, boss?
What's good, Freezie? What up to the chat? Out there in the Knicks universe. How you doing, Freezie?
Man, I'm all right, man. I got a full clip, bro. I've been kind of busy with some stuff, man. Scheduled life has got me kind of turned in a weird way, bro. But I'm good, man.
But it's only in a positive way.
Yeah, for a little while.
Yep.
For a little while, man. How the brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Life's good, man.
Yeah, man. I guess we can get down straight to the nitty-gritty, bro. What is this foolishness that the Knicks don't want Karl-Anthony Towns?
Sounds like a smart organization to me. How is that foolishness?
They are okay. I should keep my thought to myself.
I'll pose this question to you: is Karl-Anthony Towns better than Julius Randle? And by $30 million more, is he that much better?
It's more of a question of, to me, it's more of a question of, does this organization really want to take the next steps, or is Quentin Grimes going to elevate this team to the next level?
Well, that would be you thinking Karl Towns takes us to the next step.
Yes.
Do you truly believe that?
Yes.
To a title?
Yes.
A championship?
Yep.
I don't know if I could say that for you.
Listen, I love Mitch, bro.
Oh, Mitch is not stopping me from doing that deal. It's Karl Towns himself stopping me from doing that.
Yeah, see, the thing is we have to look at it in a couple of ways. My belief is that Karl Towns is exactly what Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson need in order to get to the next level.
Unfortunately, in my opinion, Randall and Brunson are multi-dimensional to offset what Karl Towns lacks, and they are in a match on the opposite end of the floor. Now, on the other end, he's probably the ideal fit next to Brunson to clear out the paint, the ideal fit next to Randall.
Right.
But teams that are completely one-sided in terms of offense to no defense don't necessarily win titles for me.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does.
Freezie, name the last team that wasn't
Denver Nuggets.
top 10 in defensive efficiency.
Denver
Over
Nuggets.
the course of they were.
And I know where you're going to go. I already know because if you're about to tell me,
I mean, we could talk about the parts of Jokic's game that doesn't really correspond, right?
And Jamal Murray,
right? But we can also talk about their roster construction in terms of mitigating the things that they cannot do.
right?
And doing a Karl Towns trade would, in my opinion,
Send out pieces.
out pieces.
Yeah,
And that would make it harder to get the premium 3 and D guys.
right.
It would make it harder to get an Aaron Gordon in here.
And I'm here to tell you that Julius Randle is better than Aaron Gordon.
Oh yeah, he's better than Aaron Gordon.
Right.
But you don't need the offensive part. We're talking about the parts that hit the parts that hide Julius's flaws. I don't by no stretch is Aaron Gordon on Julius's level.
No,
Not even close.
not even close. But he's a good defender.
He is an excellent defender.
But
And if
he
you-
is not a better rebounder than Randall. He's not a better. You know what? And I would even go out on a limb and say he doesn't even stay healthier than Randall.
Very few players stay healthier than Randall. To be absolutely honest.
The only thing that he has on Randall is man defense. Because I think team defense, when motivated, Randall is just as good as anybody in team defense.
But
right?
if you got to ask if someone's motivated, that is a problem.
Right, but at the same time, what if Aaron Gordon had to score 25 a game? Would he be the same player?
No.
Defender? No, that's what I'm saying.
But to that point, he's not asked to do that.
No, he's not.
He doesn't need to do that because he has 3 guys that are picking up the slack. Aaron Gordon is the fourth. Aaron Gordon is the 4th option on that team.
Right, they were asking Aaron Gordon to do that in Orlando. He can't do it.
Right, and I'm saying when I'm talking about the 4th option and the 5th option, Randall is already locked in as the 2nd or 3rd guy. I'm talking about the peripheral, the players that you need to surround your main guys.
Right.
Aaron Gordon is the guy that you surround your main guys, but they're hard to get once you hit a certain threshold in terms of the cap, especially now with this new CBA.
Okay.
That makes it difficult. Now, you'll see how Denver is operating underneath the new cap, trying to trade for multiple draft picks for cheap talent because they're already capped out at this point, at this juncture.
But they're also the NBA champions.
Yep.
So the whole thing, they don't have to win another championship for another 20 years, bro. If they have, because when you're the champs, no one can undo it ever.
Right. It happened.
Right.
Etched in stone.
Yeah. So even if they pay the penalty for the next 2 or 3 seasons, they can always say, we know we sipped the champagne. Right. What I'm saying about the Knicks, though, is you can't take cautious steps saying, oh, I don't want to do this because, when we get the champagne, it's going to, go win it and taste the champagne and then fix everything afterwards.
I see that point of view, Freezie, but in order to do those things, right, you have to be, unfortunately, the way CBA is set up, you got to penny pinch because it's not going to be easy to get a KCP
Right.
in here. It's not going to be easy to get a Bruce Brown.
I think Grimes is better than KCP right now.
I'm inclined to agree.
That's just my opinion.
But at the role that they do, KCP is better.
Right.
At their particular, but
Because
he's been
KCP
in the league
has
long.
a defined role. He knows.
Yeah, and he's been in the league longer. He knows what to expect on a night-to-night basis. As you
And
said,
KCP won a championship with the Lakers.
Yeah, and he knows how to play off of superstars.
Right.
Grimes has kind of just gotten here. This is his second year, going into his third.
Going into his third, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he turns into that type of player, right, Freezie? But what's to
Right.
say? The Wolves are like, yo, we not giving you Cat unless you give us Grimes, and you give us these picks, and
Okay.
you give us this other player, and then you got to turn around and figure out a way to replace said Grimes in that particular role. Find another wing to be an elite defender,
Okay.
and still figure out a way to remain underneath the cap, or if you want to go over the cap, but you can't be a repeater.
Ooh.
So if you can't be a repeater, so you have to figure out how to do it right. Your build has to be right, and you have to do it for multiple years in order to build up, I guess, chemistry. Because these things, like the Nuggets took 7 years to get to where they are. There's a
Right.
process for them.
Okay.
There's an establishment, like a hierarchy. There's chemistry. It like when we're bringing together players that, like Brunson and Randall, have a year underneath their belt, but if we're comparing what they had between Jokic and Murray, they're 6-7 years in. Like, you don't get that high level of chemistry overnight. You don't get it in 1 year. You probably don't get it in 2.
Can we give Mike Malone some credit too on
Absolutely.
learning on a job?
And yeah, he definitely developed those dudes.
Yeah, Mike Malone used to coach the Sacramento Kings, right?
Yep.
And they didn't necessarily look when he was there. So he learned over the course of these 7 years too, I think.
I think so too. But he was also like their best coach before Mike Brown. Like over the last 15, 16 years, he's definitely, it's not saying much, but he was their best coach before Mike.
You mean in between Rick Adelman
Yeah,
and Mike Brown? That
that
gap.
void.
The
And then
Eric
they fired
Musselman,
him.
Keith Smarts,
Yeah.
all them dudes.
Oh,
Luke
trash.
Waltons.
You mean the shot breaker, Keith Smart?
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you. My thing is this. I think Karl-Anthony Towns gets us closer. Karl-Anthony Towns gets us to the NBA Finals. And then
And how
once we get
long?
to
The
finals-
first year? The second year?
Yeah,
Third year?
first year. Yeah. Yeah.
Very few, I guess, quote unquote, super teams or teams with big threes figure it out the first year.
I understood.
Celtics did.
That's why the first year they might win a championship in 7 games, and then the second year they might win it. They might sweep whoever's coming from the West.
Were you confident?
Yes.
What in Karl Towns' game makes you that confident?
The thing I like about Karl-Anthony Towns with the Knicks is that Cat is a center. When Cat plays center, he's top 4 at his position. When he plays power forward, he's top 13 at his position, maybe.
No, well, power forward isn't the most talented position in the league. I'd say he's still a top 4 or 5-ish power forward. It's just he doesn't mesh
He's not a difference maker, though.
Yeah, he doesn't mesh along with the
With a
traditional
center,
five.
yeah.
He just doesn't.
Yeah, and the word on the street is Minnesota did that deal and regretted it as soon as the ink dried. Right?
Which one? The Karl Towns deal or the Rudy Gobert deal?
Rudy Gobert one, yeah. As soon as the ink dried, it was like, dang
Are
it.
we sure? Because the guy that picked up Rudy Gobert worked in the Jazz front office.
I know. I read the article you sent me though. Remember the article you sent me earlier?
Yeah.
So I read that, and I read some related articles just to make sure,
Yeah.
reference points, and you got a source and resource. So
Mhm.
I did that, right? And a lot of the stuff I was seeing is that the Timberwolves really want to give Cat to the Knicks, but the Knicks really don't want to take him, especially those last 2 years of his contract at $51 and $59 million.
I believe he has 3 years left.
No. I'm talking about those last 2 years on the
Oh yeah,
deal.
when it spikes even
Yeah,
worse.
yeah,
When he probably is going to be on his last legs.
yeah.
Ah. But you have to, in your perspective, you're like you have to take the move. I don't care about the last 2 years of the contract if we win a title in the first 2 years.
Yeah, no. My stance is this: how are you talking about pinching pennies when they were giving away money to Derrick Rose and Evan Fournier
Burden. We had 32 million on the bench.
on the
Not
bench,
playing.
right? And then now, when it comes to getting talent, you're like, oh no, we can't pay talented people. We can't throw away money on talent. We have to throw away money on the bench. But what are we talking about?
I think their perspective is we want to make sure we make the move for a guy that's going to make it worth it that we're going into the repeaters for 3-4 years in a row. That's that's how I think they're viewing it. They want to take a swing, but they also want to make sure the swing equates to 4 years of high level competition. Because like a title is not promised to anybody.
Bro,
But if you get
you
enough
ever bought
cracks,
Jordans?
then yeah,
You ever bought
of
a pair of
course,
Jordans?
of course.
You know how when you buy the Jordans, like they come in the mail and you get them, and then you open up the box and you see the big fancy box,
And
and
then
then you open
you
the
smell.
inside, and it's like all these things that come with, like the Jordan card, the authenticity thing, and like the plastic thing with the Jordan logo on the top, and then you fold it
The
over, and
tabs.
yeah, and all these different things that come with the box.
Yeah.
And you like, man, these shoes are so beautiful that I'm not even gonna wear them. You just brag about, you just telling people you got them. Yeah,
Oh,
I got the Concord Blue Jordan 11s.
you talking about these picks and these assets are just collector's items.
Bingo. That's what we doing with these draft
We
picks, y'all.
having them just to have them.
To brag to everybody, like, yeah, look at us, we're smart. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel like is happening. That's what I feel like is happening. Because think about this. You and I know this, and chat, y'all know this too. We talk about these draft picks as if all of them are unprotected. They are not. The draft picks that we have, all the ones that we have from other teams, are heavily protected. We don't have another team's unprotected pick, right?
I think the Bucks pick is the closest to being an unprotected.
Yeah,
It's like top
the
five
Buck.
protected.
Yeah, it's like yeah.
But who knows what that's going to be? That's probably the most valuable one we have in our stash besides
Right.
our own.
And it's not because of the Bucks record. It's just because it's unprotected. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it's top five
or lightly
protected.
protected. I'm sorry.
It's the most likely to convey
Right.
out
Right.
of the ones we have.
Right. And so the thing that I'm getting at is when you put for instance, I looked at the Knicks draft picks on paper. Matter of fact, we looked at them together. You and I looked at two separate websites at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? We looked at the picks and we're like, oh shit, these picks ain't worth
That
nothing.
Detroit one, garbage.
Garbage. The Wizards one, garbage. What's worse than garbage?
Basura.
Yeah, that's the Wizards one. The Dallas one,
That one hurt.
yeah,
That one hurt.
yeah.
With all the other context around it, because we
Yeah,
didn't
you know how
draft
they
this year.
say, one man's trash is another man's treasure and all of that. That could have been us this year if we got that pick,
Oh,
right?
man.
Because we in all likelihood, what we would have done if we'd have got the Dallas pick,
Probably
we would have
packaged it.
traded that pick to get
Yep.
more first, is what I think we would have done. Right?
More protected ones out till 2037.
Yeah, 2037. Leon Rose would be in an old folks' home with a smoking jacket on, still holding on to those picks.
Global warming would have taken us all by that point.
Yeah, you know we're not supposed to say global warming. Yeah, we not. Yeah. So, yeah, man. So my thing is with the picks. If these picks had value, bro, they'd be gone already. Right. Right. But ultimately, what I'm
Wish you
saying
would have gave
is
one of those up for Josh Hart instead of our actual.
yeah, the actual unprotected pick, we gave it up for Josh Hart.
Oh God.
Oh my God!
Hey,
But
you know what? You know what happened with that? They got a player we could actually use.
bro,
We already cornering the market on left-handers. We could at least use a 3-and-D left-hander.
I think there was a, I think Brooklyn, who got
It
who
was a
got Portland,
23rd pick, and they took Chris Murray, Portland.
bro. We could legit saw Chris Murray in summer league for the Knicks,
He was killing, by the way.
and he was killing. Yep. We could have been watching Chris Murray in summer league, right, for the Knicks, but we're not. Right. So
I mean, $80 million for Josh Hart is pretty nice.
yeah, 80 plus, bro.
Oh my bad.
Because
When
yeah,
you
because
add it up,
yeah,
it's about to be 90 something.
yeah, it's gonna be. I bet you, I can almost promise you, that man is getting five for 92, or it's gonna equate to something like to 5 for 97 is what it's gonna look like once he does it, and he's gonna get 4 years, 84-ish, so that he can get the cost of living raised for this year, and then it'll be even for the next 4 years. I think.
I mean, I think Cam Johnson kind of set the market for wings.
Yeah.
Because he got 4 for like 108 or something. Well,
yeah. Yeah. And Josh Hart is not Cam Johnson, though.
Nah, they don't. Cam Johnson plays like a wing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Josh Hart is a power forward masquerading as a shooting guard.
Okay.
I mean, a shooting guard that doesn't want to shoot. That is.
Josh Hart is Ben Wallace hiding as Reggie Miller. No, bro. No. No. Josh Hart is a 3 hours in the dryer Ben Wallace.
Shrunk him?
Yeah. That's what he is, bro. But ultimately what I was going to get at and speak to was the fact that I believe that the Knicks are going to hold on to these assets until they get their contract extension.
And then they're just going to splurge.
And then they
got their income tax check.
Yep. They're going to go out and buy a 75-inch TV, bro.
A Hisense.
Yes, a Hisense. Yeah.
A Sanyo or something.
Yes. And they're going to drive it home on the top of their Honda Civic. They're going to strap it to the top of their car and drive it home. Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it could be worse. It could buy like a 70s Chevrolet with water damage.
Yeah. And put 22s on it.
Black it out?
Yeah. Buy a 75 Nova and put 22-inch Daytons on it. And play Computer Love all the way home. Yeah, but here's the thing, man. So if the Knicks were in the trade market really for anybody, I think the Knicks would have jumped straight in on Paul George and did it, right? Mm-hmm. With the hopes of keeping Paul George healthy. And if you're a Knicks fan, please don't talk to me about the injuries and somebody being old. Because when you're in this situation now, we're not in that window of, play the kids, let the kids develop, and then a crown gem is going to develop into a 21-year-old Kobe Bryant. Nah, your best player is 26. Your second best player will be 29, right? Your third best player is Emmanuel Quickly, except we want to say that it's RJ Barrett.
I mean, we paid RJ. So.
But you paid RJ, and now you have to pay Quickly commensurate because, no lie, open eyes and clear eyes will tell you that Quickly is a better prospect than RJ Barrett. Right? You don't have to be Dick Vitale to know that Quickly has more upside than RJ Barrett.
He is definitely a PTP.
Right.
At least he was more consistent over the regular season.
Yeah. And so the thing is, ultimately, shout out to Soulfinger and Cormega
Salute.
and B-Baller for real.
And
Lee
Corey
is in the building.
Shout out to Corey.
And the Ghetto
DSJ.
Intellect is in the building, man. And all our people, James Harris, man, what's good, man? I see you. DSJ is in the building. What I'm gonna say, man, is, if the Knicks were ready to do something, bro, I honestly think you would have heard their name on Joel Embiid for real. Right?
They also some tidbits that came out. They inquired about Levine, and according to what the Knicks want out there, right? The Bulls were asking for entirely too much.
Of course. Is that narrative not familiar?
Last summer?
Yeah. Every time the Knicks entertain a trade, the other team wanted too much. That's always what we hear, right? The other team wanted not unprotected first. No, they didn't.
We're the guy that's like, I could have been bought that Benz, man, but I had some other stuff to take care of.
But the car insurance would have been so
Yeah,
expensive.
man, I could have been. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I could have got that high rise apartment, but I ain't like the location.
Yeah, man, and then you gotta tip the door guy every time you see him. And then you got to pay for parking, man. I ain't paying no $900 a month for parking. $30 a day, bro. I mean, it is what it is.
We want a high roll, but on a budget. That's
yeah. And so what it makes me think is the Knicks were never interested in doing a trade of any significance. Anyway. Because when the Josh Hart trade, when they said that they were giving up, when the rumor was they were giving up 5 second-round picks for Josh Hart, I almost fainted, bro. I was in Orlando, bro. I think were we in Memphis? I can't remember where we were. Orlando or Memphis, somewhere. We were in the NBA city.
I'm not sure if I would have liked to have our own first-round pick over them second-rounders.
Yeah. Yeah. What I'm saying is when I heard 5 second-round picks for Josh Hart, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that's too much. And then I heard, wait a minute, a first-round pick or 5 seconds? I was like, wait a minute.
Nah, where did it? And you know what's funny? Jay Crowder went for 4 second-rounders.
Right.
So when you paint it like that, I would have just easily done that over a first.
I didn't want to give him that, bro.
Either.
No, for Josh Hart. The thing is, when you're talking about giving up multiple assets or first round pick, the player has to have accomplished something in the league. At some point, when you're giving up a first round pick, the player has had to have been a difference maker at some point. Right? Like right now, I'm not giving up a first round pick for LeBron. But if they gave up a first round pick, unprotected first for LeBron, I'd be like, okay. Right? Even though I wouldn't do it for the same reason. And I know Knicks fans would be like, Uncle Freezie, you crazy. No. No, listen. When you set parameters, right? Knicks fans said about, you know what they said about Paul George, right? He's
He old,
old and he always stays hurt, right?
but you're thinking about the 3-year window to maximize what you have in Brunson right
I know,
now.
I know, I know, I know.
You
And it would
know,
be the same reason why Knicks fans would trade for LeBron. But what I'm saying is what's good what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We got to have some level of consistency, right? If I'm not giving that up for Paul George, I ain't giving up for LeBron either. And I don't care at this point, bro. LeBron to be 39 during the season, right? And you want me to give up an unprotected first for LeBron?
he gonna do the do-si-do. Am I going to retire? And so,
Right.
am I not?
Right.
But to that point, it's like you got to pay the cost at some point.
Well, if that's the thing, if you have to pay the cost at some point, then why would we say that for Paul? And listen, I understand that LeBron James is 3 times as good as Paul George, right? I understand that. But what I'm saying is, if you're talking about bona fide, certified Hall of Famers, and both are, Paul George might be the greatest wing defender in NBA history. Him and Bobby Jones. I think the two greatest perimeter defenders that I've ever seen.
Over Scotty?
Who?
Scotty Pippen. I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Bro. What that's like
I never got a chance to see prime Scottie Pippen, which is why I asked.
and you never got a chance to see prime Bobby Jones.
Right.
Because if you never saw Scotty, you never saw Bobby Jones either.
Right.
Right? When I said Bobby Jones, people think I'm talking about the BET preacher. You know what I'm saying? No, not that Bobby Jones, right?
Not what you see on Sunday mornings.
Not him, right? What I'm saying to you is Bobby Jones was on the perimeter in theory by himself. They didn't have another great perimeter defender with him, right? And it's for the same reason why I don't say Kawhi Leonard, because for the most part, Kawhi Leonard, everywhere he went, he also had at least 1 or 2 great defenders with him. It's the reason why I don't say Kobe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Kobe let Trevor Ariza do the heavy lifting. And then when Trevor Ariza left, they went out and got Ron Artest.
Yeah.
Right? The same thing I don't say about Scotty, because he also had Mike, who's a top 20 perimeter defender of all time also. Right?
Not to mention he had Rodman.
And Rodman, bro. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
The other guys that they had in the bigs weren't slouches either.
Right. And it's the same thing. The reason why I don't give Gary Payton as much love as he deserves being an elite defender, but he also had Vincent Askew and Nate McMillan, who are very good defenders.
Mm.
They could rotate these things, right? So with Paul George, there were times where Paul George on Indiana didn't have great perimeter. They played great team defense, right? But they didn't have a lockdown defender. It was Paul George. OKC, I think Andre Roberson may have been gone, right? Was Andre Roberson gone?
OKC, they had Roberson. Well, at what point? What point are we talking about?
When Paul George was there?
No, Roberson was gone by then.
Roberson was gone, right? Okay. Yeah. It's the same thing I say about Steven Jackson, even though Steven Jackson was good. But there were times where he was like, it was Steven Jackson and Deshaun Stevenson together, or Steven Jackson and Bruce Bowen together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Jackson and Ron Artest and Jermaine O'Neal and
yeah. Is his name Posey? Was Posey there?
James Posey?
Is it Posey?
James Posey? I don't recall James Posey.
I don't think so. They had another guy
on that team.
They had another guy. I can't remember his name. Right? I can't. No, James Posey and Tony Allen were together.
Mm-hmm.
James Posey, Tony Allen, and it's one other guy. I cannot remember. If I cannot remember his name. But anyways, what I'm getting at ultimately is, yeah, Paul George might be the greatest wing defender of all time, him and Bobby Jones. You know what I'm saying? I want to give I like to give people credit for the work that they've done, man. I mean, Paul George can guard ones, fours. Adam, what's good, man? Ones, fours, twos, threes. I mean,
Basically 1 through 4.
yeah,
Some fives.
yeah, and then the ones that he guards, bro, are not like the Dinwiddie ones. I mean, this dude is guarding Steph Curry and Damian Lillard.
Playing through screens, sliding and shuffling.
Yeah, man.
And we talk about how he gets hurt. That's the reason he's doing things that are not natural.
Right, right.
A man that big is not supposed to, like, the small forward position overall. When you see these guys, if you get real close to the court, you're seeing guys 6'7" flying up and down the court, changing
Yep,
directions.
yep.
Around 6'7", 230, two
Right.
forty. That is just, yeah. we
If they
wonder
were
why
in the
dudes get
NFL,
hurt.
they'd be Calvin Johnson, bro.
They be Javon Curses,
Yes.
freaks,
I mean,
JJ Watts, those guys.
yes.
And you see they dominate when they play.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah. Yeah. And if I were the Knicks right now, bro, if it were me, I know they're in love with these draft picks and some of the kids. I'm in love with winning a championship. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I would strongly have to consider some type of move. I would consider the Paul George thing. Yeah, I'd have to the
You have to,
analytics department would have to talk me out of it.
analytics department would probably talk you into it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why.
I was gonna say, like, you're feeling like Bernie Mac's character in Soul Man, where he was just like, "F them kids."
Yeah. Yeah.
The kids. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I would and I would strongly listen, man. I would look at Cat and Paul George. I think that wins us a chip for
I think,
basketball reasons, but not for roster personnel reasons.
and in my mind, even though it's not gonna happen, I think the Paul George thing makes like a way more seamless fit, right?
Okay.
I think doing the cat move, you might have to wait a year to acquire like the additional players
Okay.
to make it mesh together. But if you if you plug Paul George in this rotation right now, we talking a whole different type of ball game, Freezie.
Right. Right.
Like tomorrow,
Right.
tomorrow finals odds would shift.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. If I get Paul George, bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. If I get Paul George, knowing that Randall stays hurt and will play through injuries and is hurt at playoff time, and Karl-Anthony Towns gets hurt, I'm getting all them dudes, bro, and playing them like at 80% during the season. And I just want to,
Coast,
just want to coast. I'm going to load
but your
manage.
coach can't be Tom Thibodeau, by the way. If you think
Well,
like that.
he just can't be. Yeah, my coach. You're right.
you do that. There is no reality where you want Tom Thibodeau coaching a Carl Towns or Paul George. We not doing no load management, man. That back to back, you playing 35 both of them games.
Yeah, yeah. And Tom Thibodeau would be an assistant coach for the San Antonio Spurs.
I think Tom Thibodeau is too much of a control freak to ever be an assistant coach ever again. He got the fix of being a head coach. He will never go back. Like
Right.
there's other coaches in the league, like the Scott Brooks of the world, where they're cool, like being an assistant coach.
Right.
Like Jason Kidd did it. There's a reason Tom Thibodeau didn't have no job because he didn't want to be an assistant. Because if he wanted to be an assistant, he would be on.
He would have been an assistant. I understand that.
Yeah.
Right. One of the guys that I really like is Brett Brown.
At least from our offensive standpoint.
I like Brett Brown because I think he's a great teacher of the game. Right now,
would you need a teacher though? Like when we're talking about trying to capitalize on a unit that's built to win in 1, 2, 3 years.
Right.
Do you need a teacher?
Yeah.
Or do you need a guy ready right now? Okay.
I think so.
All right.
And now listen, when I say Brett Brown and teacher, don't assume that the coaching staff is just Brett Brown.
Right. You're filling them up, filling up the
with other veteran coaches too. Yeah.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, Ben Simmons was not a power forward until point guard until Brett Brown put him there. Brett Brown put him at point guard and created Ben Simmons at point in the NBA anyway.
In the NBA, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my thing is if Brett Brown can teach Ben Simmons that, bro, I honestly believe, man, that guys like Randall who have flaws in their offense and defensive games can be taught by Brett Brown. As opposed to a coach saying, just walking by like, hey, you got to play harder and don't even talk to you.
Isolate better.
Yeah. You got to get better spacing on your ISO. Right. You know what I mean? The thing is Jimmy Butler was good, but Jimmy Butler played hard. You didn't really see the diversification of Jimmy Butler until he got to Philly. When Jimmy Butler took over playmaking duties from Ben
I'll
Simmons.
say this. He forced Tibbs' hand, but it took him 4 years to do it because I remember he dropped 50 in the Bulls uniform.
Yeah.
Like he forced Tibbs' hand. But like the nurturing process,
right.
For most guys you would see the what is it? You would see the potential way earlier than the 4th year. Okay. The potential of being a star than the 4th year.
So,
but
he was just 26, 27,
26-ish,
26, 27-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is extremely late.
Right. That is so rare. I don't think it'll happen anytime.
Like guys hitting their peak version of themselves after not being viewed as like that high-end prospect in their 30s.
Right.
It's just rare.
Right.
It's part of the reason why, like, when Randall won Most Improved Player at, 27 years old?
27? 20,
Most of the guys who win it are usually like 23, 24 at worst.
Right. What do you think about Jalen Martin?
I think he has a ways to go. One thing I will say, I do not want Tom Thibodeau anywhere around him for his development. I'm glad he's in the G League. He needs to stay there.
Right.
Because Tibbs will have him up here just being a corner guy. That's it. Turn that man into Ronnie Brewer, period. That's it. Nothing else. You're not gonna learn how to play make. You're not gonna learn how to run pick and roll. You're not gonna learn guard skills, even though you are a guard.
Yep.
He's just so young. He's a blank canvas. But you see certain things during the summer league where it's like, okay, even though he isn't the most athletic guy, he is very athletic.
I was told that by a reasonable source, somebody y'all know, I ain't gonna say his name out of respect for our conversation, but his athleticism was being measured up against the Thompson twins and Anthony Edwards,
which isn't fair.
Which isn't fair to his athleticism.
Yeah.
right? Because he's not the athlete of the Thompson twins and Anthony Edwards.
But he's a
But
pretty
he's
good athlete.
but he's a really, really, really good athlete.
Because when you take it to context, he's 6'6" and almost 220
Yeah.
at 19.
Yep.
Usually guys in the NBA when they're 6'6", 220, they're already 27, 28, 29, like Caleb Martin or something.
Right. All right.
Caleb Martin's a little bit above 220, and it took him to get around 26, 27 to get that grown man weight. And he already has
Right.
that weight on him right now,
Right.
and he's still pretty explosive.
Hey, you Elvis asked what kind of which twin? I think the one in
Amen.
Detroit. The one in Detroit is gonna be Kobe-esque.
I thought Amen was the Kobe one.
No, I keep telling you Penny Hardaway.
Right, right. And they keep comparing Osar to like Iguodala, and I feel like that's not.
Yeah.
That's capping him.
Yeah.
That's capping his.
That means
Which sounds crazy. It's capping his ceiling. Even though Iguodala is a damn good player, I feel like his ceiling's higher than that.
I think that man could be Kobe. Like nobody ever. There'll never be another Kobe.
No.
But what I'm saying is the tools are there for that man to be like
and the
the
motor
drive
is there too. The motor is there too.
Yeah.
But it's funny because seeing them like after every summer they're gonna come back. Both of the twins, like they're gonna come back better every summer because they just train against each other.
Right.
That's the scary part. It's like when Kobe trained with T-Mac every summer.
Yeah.
And they would come back stealing each other's moves.
Yeah. You talking about the Adidas years? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it was like a 3-year span where they just came back every year and they stole each other's moves. And then to the point they just became 30-point scorers. There's nothing you can do with them.
The thing about the Thompson twins and this kid, Jalen Martin, is these cats have never, ever, 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 ever been truly tested by an alpha. Right? Mm-hmm. They don't know what their ceiling is because nobody has ever forced them to be great. Right? These dudes are just out here. They're just good just off of.
They haven't gotten hit with that fight or flight response.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The Osar Thompson could be a Kobe-like player. And Amen, bro, did you see the pass Amen Thompson threw to the bro? If that's not Penny Hardaway, bro, this dude got the screen, right? This dude got
talking about the one he threw with his offhand?
No, the one he threw with his right hand.
Okay.
He threw a right-handed pass going right, but he threw it through traffic to the left. Mm-hmm. And the big caught the ball, bobbled it, tried to dunk and missed it. Because I guess he didn't think the ball was going to get through there. I guess he didn't expect it. Right? They forced him right. He didn't even need the screen, bro. He was already by the dude.
But by the time that Fred VanVleet contract is about it away, he's gonna be the guy without question.
Yeah,
bro. This is a certain level of talent I wish we had.
Yeah,
like we have a bunch of high floor guys, but nothing with ceilings like that.
I think we have high floor guys because Tibbs is here.
Yeah, Tibbs is just raising that floor.
Yeah, if you change the coach, bro, I think you see the ceiling part.
Yeah, because a lot of that requires experimentation.
Yeah,
and reaching your borders in terms of your skill every year. We kind of there's been some times where we see guys do some things like I didn't know he had that in his bag.
Yo, I'll point to, you know what? You're right. And I'll point to a thing that maybe you remember this, maybe you don't. Right. But on a Sunday afternoon, the Knicks had everybody hurt. Even Damian Dotson and Ryan Archie-Diacono was hurt. Right. And we were playing the Bucks in an ABC game. Right. And so they're like, oh, the kid Grimes, he's gonna, we'll see when, they're gonna give Grimes a shot. And Grimes comes out and hits like his first four threes.
Is it the Bucks game?
The Bucks game. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He came out.
It,
He
it's
hit his
a, it, it was the maybe I should say the C word was going around,
yeah.
and it took like four guys catching it, and then some injuries, and then she was like, all right, you can play.
All right, we'll finally get Grimes on the floor, right? And Grimes came out and he hit the first three. We're like, okay. Well, we heard he was a shooter. Then he hit the second three with confidence, and we're like, okay, if this dude gets a look, he'll knock it down. Then he hit the third three. We're like, oh, wait a minute, this dude is cooking. When he hit that fourth three, we're like, okay,
Grimes
a star is being born.
Grimes with confidence looks like a completely different player.
Right. The dude had got so hot, right? And it let me know that Tom Thibodeau didn't have a clue about offense, right? Because a dude that hot, you don't have plays in reserve. Like Dre,
we had one play, and that was that flare that makes him come around.
That everybody runs, and when you see it, everybody can diagnose it. The defense,
it might scare, you might catch the defense off guard or flat-footed one time.
But that's it. Once you run it again, you can't. You know what I'm saying? But when Tom Thibodeau didn't have if you and I coach, say, 7 and 8 year olds, right, and say, little Chris is knocking down all his shots in practice, but he's scared to shoot in the game, right? And then we get to about game 10, and we're like, little Chris, listen, man, you can't score if you don't shoot. And we get there, and we like, listen, Chris, we're going to have a package for you, right? What we're going to do is whatever your favorite channel is, we're going to name the plays or after the cartoons on that channel. Say if you like Cartoon Network, right? If you like Cartoon Network, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be calling Jake Long American Dragon. We're gonna be calling Ben 10. We're gonna be calling Powerpuff Girls, and all of that's gonna be
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah.
Courage. That's what he needs.
Right.
Pessimistic or hesitant.
Right. And shame on y'all if y'all don't remember Ben 10, or if y'all don't remember American Dragon, Jake Long. but my thing is Tibbs didn't even have a little package to put together for Grimes on that day, right? He have a package for his guards where if a guard gets hot, you can go to like you like cars, right?
Yeah.
Right. So say if you like cars, then what we'll do is we'll have a package where we be like Honda, Caddy, Buick, you know what I'm saying? Lex. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the defense and all that stuff, right? Tibbs, the offense was so shaky that day, they moved Grimes to point guard and let Grimes bring the ball up because they didn't have nothing to call for him. The man legit had to play point and try to create his shot, and he wound up cooling off. And so when I saw that, I was like, Tibbs, you can just run picket fence on a dead ball and get him a look. Right? All picket fence is you have one inbounder, right? And you have all four people lined up shoulder to shoulder at the free throw line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? The one guy, as soon as the out of bounds guy slaps the ball, the guy in the one spot turns around and chases the guy in the fourth spot, and the guy in the fourth spot chases the guy in the one spot. So it looks like this. Right. And then the guy in the 2 spot goes to the top of the free throw line or the top of the 3-point line and looks for the ball or sets the screen in case the 1 or the 4 comes back around. And the guy that's in the 3 spot, he just goes and stands underneath the rim.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. It's science.
Freezie, I don't know if you remember this, but you remember when Kristaps got like a 3-pointer to win a game against the Bulls. And I think he hit it, but it came after the buzz, like the buzzer or
Right.
something like that.
Right.
That was picket fence. For those that don't remember, that was actually picket fence. But
Picket fence is a primary school play, bro. It's when you're
like
teaching kids, bro.
it's the same, almost the same principles as elevators, except
Right.
there's just one more player.
Yeah. That's all picket fence is. 1 chases 4, 2 at the top of the 3-point line, 3 go stand underneath the rim. Right?
Yeah.
Because they can't call you for 3 seconds when the ball is out of bounds. So
Yeah.
you can stand there as long as you want. It's when the ball gets on the court,
You
then you have to, you know what I'm saying?
then you gotta make a decision or move.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. Like I'm looking at the box score from that game, Freezie. It's a bad game when Kevin Knox is your second leading scorer.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin Knox cooled him off too, right? Because Kevin Knox came. I think when Grimes got hot, Kevin Knox got hot. I think Grimes may have had like 15, and then Knox got hot. I think that's how if I remember it correctly. Like Knox started jacking, but Grimes was hot. And be like, yo, Knox, why you shooting? Let Grimes shoot it. Yeah, man.
It took so much to get people to play. Like Randall had a really bad game that game. He had 8 points and 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
It happens. But that happens when Evan Fournier is in your backcourt and Derrick Rose had to start and play 37 minutes.
Oh my God.
Nerlens Noel. According to this, it looked like Nerlens Noel was the starter that game.
Yeah, probably.
He was the starter. He wasn't even starting Mitch at that point.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's Miles McBride. It was an 8-man rotation that night.
Yeah. That's crazy, bro.
That is actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, Tibbs, you can't even run picket fence. Run picket fence.
Tibbs is going to try to work whatever he thinks is going to work into the ground, and then there is no alternative. There is no backup plan. There is just doing the same thing but harder. Meet force with more force.
It's a game of will, gentlemen. No, Tibbs, it's a game of basketball.
It's not the 90s anymore.
Right. That's why they throw a basketball up. They don't throw will up. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, like, there's kind of been a reason why, like, no team has gone very far in the playoffs when your first plan of action is to dominate the rebounds, dominate the offensive glass.
Yeah.
Forget about generating easier looks.
Right.
Miss them hard shots and get the rebound. That's because we're so averse to turnovers and all these other things. We're averse to creativity. That's what it is.
And the thing is on offense, because I saw Tibbs do some amazing things this year defensively, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I need the fact that when I saw Jalen Brunson rotate in underneath the rim to when they pull Mitchell Robinson and when they pull our center out to the top on the screen, bro, that is amazing.
Him drawing a charge is the best he can do in terms of rim protection.
Right. But he's taught to get out there far enough.
Yeah, to help and recover.
Right. Because if you remember that's how we made it to overtime against the Grizzlies at the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah, he drew that charge against
John Morant. Yeah.
Because they had, I believe, Jaren Jackson wasn't ready at that point. Right. I think they were spacing the court out though. Like, oh yeah, they did that one play where they set a pick for Ja all the way at the top by damn near by the half court, so you can get a head full of steam and get to the paint.
Yeah.
And for all his like physical deficiency, Brunson is a hell of a weak side defender.
Yeah.
Part of that is scheme, though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And the defense was designed once Ja beats your level, like once Ja can't see a certain passer, you leave that man open.
Yeah, because if he's gonna hit that pass, it's gonna be a hell of a pass with your
Right.
offhand,
Right.
with your left hand,
Or he has to turn his body to do
and
a
that's
Q pass.
telegraphic at that point.
Right. And then that gives you time to recover.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, so Tibbs has done some amazing stuff defensively.
Not but on offense, hey,
But
dumb it
on
down,
offense, bro.
dumb it all the way down.
Yeah. 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 So I like giving Tibbs credit for a lot of the stuff that Tibbs can, man.
He's a defense. I mean, he's a genius defensive. Like, I'll say this. I think this might sound like a slight, but I think if Tibbs wanted to be an assistant coach or something like that, he would be like a Frank Vogel type, because they're both just geniuses defensively, but they don't really know what they're doing on offense.
Right. Right.
I think when you have a coach like Tibbs, you need to have multiple superstars that are their own offense, that are their own quarterbacks, that can adjust on the fly for him on offense. Because Tibbs don't know what to do on offense. Tibbs is just like, yo, figure out a way to create space for Brunson and let Brunson do what he has to do. Figure out a way to create space for Randall and let Randall do what they have to do. It's the most, like, in terms of adjustments, like we saw against the Cavs, the most you'll get is us doing a small screen, and then the like Josh Hart and Quickly would come up and set a screen just so they could attack either Garland or Donovan Mitchell, and they would flip the screen. That's about as much as you're gonna get as far as ingenuity. That's about as much.
I think Tom Thibodeau is George Karl. That's
but flipped. Like, George Karl was a pretty good offensive guy.
Yeah, George Karl is a great. In my mind, George Karl is a great two-way coach.
Okay.
But George Karl gets stuck into a groove, though. Like in the early 80s when he created the point forward, and I'm not gonna say he created the Spanish pick and roll, but when he started doing different things with the pick and roll, like the point guard coming up, setting the screen, and then another guy screening for the point guard, and the point guard flare out to a side. Meanwhile, the small forward is the primary ball handler.
Right.
Like, he did these things, and you're like, yo, yeah.
Am I watching the
blowing
future?
my mind.
Am I watching the future?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And when you like sold out on the perimeter, they would do this thing called the alley-oop. That when you saw it, you were like, oh, he almost jumped in the ceiling to get that basketball. Right? Like, bro, when you saw, and because alley-oops back then, you would see it kind of in a half court. I mean, in a full court. But to see a design play, and to see NBC and Matty Gukas and all them guys breaking it down with the teleprompter, you like, yo, the alley-oop actually started right here, where
they created the advantage out here. It was just a domino effect before you got the alley-oop.
Yeah. Because the center sees that he's being trapped, and by the time he recovers, he's on a poster.
Yeah, it's just too late.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the Lob City Clippers lobs, like the most notorious lob, it came off a double screen action.
Oh, the one against the Knicks.
Well, no. I was talking about the one where they killed Brandon Knight, if you remember.
Oh God, yeah.
That was a double screen.
Yeah.
It was Blake and DeAndre Sentence screen.
Yes.
And then it caused a chain reaction in terms of who's responsible for what. But by the time the decision was made that, Brandon Knight has to recover.
Yeah.
he was
It's too
already
late.
in a casket.
Already,
So,
already, bro. And for that reason, I'm here to tell you that offense is a simple thing to create, especially based on personnel.
right.
Like if you know your personnel are not above the rim, if you know your personnel, if if you have strong personnel,
Uh-huh.
like when I look at like if I look at our personnel, right? Just looking at them, like the thing I would think that we would do is post up RJ Barrett a lot.
Against these smaller guard. Well, this is the thing, Freezy. Teams will default to putting their big wings on Brunson or Randall,
Right.
and we never really figure out a way to exploit that beyond. And the only way we actually like attempt to do that is like through pistol actions or something like that,
But
which by design involves way more other players into the play
and
than
it gives the defense a chance to reset.
yeah.
Yeah.
All you got to do is like yo switch.
Yeah, you and I we had that conversation already. You and I talked about this during the season.
Yeah.
About the pistol action and RJ Barrett backing all the way up to New Rochelle just to get a running start.
You sure it's not Rye? Not all the way up in Rye?
And then I was thinking about Mount Vernon. You know what I'm saying? This dude backed all the way up through Harlem, all the way up through the
Hartford,
Bronx.
Connecticut.
Yes. This dude backed all the way up to Yonkers.
Because he can't force the mismatch that close because of the collapsing defense and
Right.
teams knowing, oh, it's already on the scouting report what's happening because we've been running that same play for 3 years.
Right.
Legitimately 3 years. The most common RJ Barrett play
Yeah.
is pistol action.
Yep. This dude backed all the way up to Yonkers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Catskills. Come on, bro. RJ, come on. I mean, come on, bro. What are you doing?
He's
You
back
backing
there in
all the way up
Newburgh.
he backing all the way up to Troy.
Oh man.
Why? Yeah.
But it's at some point like there's a difference between like a bread and butter action and doing the same thing after what is this gonna be Tibbs' fourth year?
Yeah. Yep.
I can bet my bottom dollar if RJ comes into the season as a Knick, we running that pistol action 5 times. Game one.
Yep.
Off the rip.
Yep.
It don't matter what it don't matter what RJ attempted to add to his bag. It don't matter. Whatever you worked on over the summer, that's cool. You can work on that. But we gonna run the ship we gonna delegate your shots based on how I think you should shoot or where I think you should shoot from.
And you know what? And it wouldn't be so bad. I would even give Tibbs that if RJ Barrett was a willing passer.
He didn't figure out how to pass until the playoffs.
Bro, this thing, man, with RJ, bro, you got to give it up. You got to give it up.
That's the painful part about that is the ideal player you want next to Brunson is a big playmaker.
Right. A Dinwiddie type.
Yeah. A big playmaker that can weaponize the fact that Brunson is an elite catch and shoot player.
You know the perfect person for Jalen Brunson is Cade Cunningham. And I saw why Detroit wanted to get Jalen Brunson. Man, if Detroit could have snuck in and got Jalen Brunson,
if they would have fell down in the draft to like 6 or 7 and couldn't really get in that sweepstakes for what's his name,
they would have sold out for Brunson, bro. They'd probably offer Brunson.
They would have gave him 130 or something like that because the idea of pairing a big playmaker, like for instance, Freezie. Imagine it was Brunson attacking closeouts instead of Grimes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You talking about like shooting 48% on spot up threes?
And if
And
they come out there, he has the
he putting it
floater.
on the floor, left or right. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of him having to beat his man with 17 dribbles and a pick,
Yeah.
he would be attacking closeouts. And if he don't come out, of course, he is who he is from three
Right.
right now.
Right.
It's that if there is an evolution in RJ's game, it's not being a better scorer. It's just making better decisions because
Better decisions.
it's to be absolutely honest. If he just made better decisions, we wouldn't even be talking about his efficiency because it
And
just would be there wouldn't be the bad shots.
or organically he'd be better. Just by natural basketball, he'd be better, right?
Yeah,
But
his shot attempts would be down, but his
yep.
efficiency would be much higher.
Right. His shot attempts would be down, but he'd average more points per game.
More assists.
More assists. Yep. He'd shoot more free throws. In my opinion, he'd shoot more free throws. And the reason why he would is just not by just forcing shots.
But
But
his usage would go up because he would be creating more, and then that would put more opportunities to get fouled in
right.
general.
And then too, when players know you will pass, they'll be more inclined to stay with their man instead of double teaming you.
Right.
So now you'll get a little more single coverage, right? It's like running the option in football, bro. They only hit the quarterback when the quarterback is keeping the ball all the time.
He's not a threat to actually give it up.
Yeah. If he's not pitching it, they're not selling out for the back, bro.
What am I setting the edge for if you
Yeah.
just don't hold the ball?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just run right at you.
Yeah. I'm not controlling gaps. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing none of that stuff, bro.
You're not making the linebacker pause or wait or nothing.
Nothing.
He's just gonna hit that hole and take your head off. That's it.
Run to daylight. That's it. Just run to daylight. That's what RJ does. Just run to daylight,
But
bro.
at what point do we think it's coaching in that regard? Because I feel like some of it is like Tibbs is like it doesn't really matter what type of shot you get up there, just throw it up so Mitch can clean it up. Because I feel like that is part of our game plan. Like, do not make a live ball turnover. I'd rather you just throw it up.
Yeah,
because nothing pisses Tibbs off more than a turnover on a pass.
A live ball turnover, bro.
Yeah,
a live ball turnover. You could see that man crapping his depends.
Yeah,
right. You know what I'm saying? Because he tries to control every aspect of the game, but at the same time,
at some point the onus is on the player.
Yeah, and at the same time, I've been at games, bro, where and I know Knicks fans think this is a falsehood, but I've been at games where the Knicks get the rebound, bro, and Tibbs is screaming for them to run and they won't run. And I'm talking about screaming, almost walking out to the logo, screaming, telling them to run, and they won't run, bro. Randall, RJ, I don't know what it is, man.
Well, I think some of that is I don't think our bigs can consistently get up and down the court. So if you're going to even do that, you got to entertain the idea of, unfortunately, it's for Tibbs, you got to think of the idea of running Randall at the 5. Because there's so many instances where I watch other teams play and guys get the ball off the glass and then they just go. It doesn't matter who has it. Just go. Right. You figure out the advantage after the fact. If you don't get an advantage, then reset and then let Brunson do something. But I don't think we don't seek advantages.
No, we don't seek advantages. Some advantages.
The only advantages we try to seek is like the offensive guys. That's the advantage we
and
like
ISO man.
Yeah. And force switches. But outside of that, like transition, no.
RJ will run when everybody else is running, but I've seen RJ not run too. But right? he'll do the fake run, like and then he'll slow it down. You know what I'm saying?
Because he realizes no one else is gonna be.
Yeah.
Because like part of that thing is when you're creating advantages like that, A lot of when RJ is attacking off of a rebound or something,
Right.
it's because other teams can't set up their entire defense because other guys are running up the court as well. So they have to get a man, right?
Right.
But when RJ is trying to bring the ball up and everyone else is at the half court line,
Right.
it makes no sense because he has all 10 eyeballs staring at him
Right.
in that process. Whereas if you're attacking and everyone is moving off of a miss, then that's when you can take advantage of like defenses have to be on a string
Yeah.
at that point to stop him.
Yeah. I Bronx Smell says RJ needs to improve his ball handling. I think RJ Barrett needs to. I think I know where you're going with it, right? I don't know if it's specifically ball handling. I think his agility and dexterity needs some tweaking.
He needs to do yoga.
Yeah, he needs to be yoga, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like
He
this
should
dude.
have been in Clyde's ear about the yoga thing. Clyde should have been like, "Yo,"
Come, like, yeah,
because
yeah.
he is not the most flexible of
No,
players. He is very upright.
right. Who's more stiff than RJ? What Nick you've ever seen is more stiff than RJ?
Damn, that is a hell of a question, Freezy. More
Yeah,
stiff than RJ.
I've never seen a Knicks player more stiff than RJ, bro.
Not especially not as a small forward.
No, definitely not.
But if it had to be like stiff, it had to be a big, without question.
Yeah, I've never seen a Knicks player.
Terry
that-
Cummings?
No, no,
Not even him.
no, not even the old guy. Not Terry Cummins, Buck Williams, not Mark Jackson,
Not
not
even
35-year-old Mark
Not
Jackson.
Kurt Thomas. Not even Kurt Thomas.
No, not Kurt. No,
Kurt
no.
Thomas had a smooth jumper. Never mind.
Yeah, Kurt Thomas is crazy, bro.
You can see it in the eyes, man.
Kurt Thomas is a sociopath, bro. like you go to the game, like, hey Kurt, like somebody calling my name. He like, calm down, big fella. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'm like, you've been in the league 20 years. You're not used to people saying your name?
Who said Kurt?
C-Mac said Anthony Mason was stiff.
Was he stiff?
Not on the defensive end, at least.
He may have
been
stiff.
upright.
He may have been upright and may be a little stiff, but not as stiff as RJ, bro. not RJ. RJ is like starchy, like his body.
Oh, he's
You know what I'm saying?
He's one of them jeans with the creases in them.
Yeah, that's him. Levi's 501s. That's RJ. Yeah, man.
It's so starchy. You could lead a pants standing up by themselves.
Stand up by themselves. Obi is kind of like that too.
But Obi has
is
an
straight line.
Yeah, Obi's a straight line athlete.
Right.
It's kind of funny because RJ has like I won't call it wiggle, but it's like he has enough to get an advantage. Like he can find an angle, and then after he gets an angle, he'll throw all his strength into it.
Right.
Like the game, I think against the Rockets, he found an angle against PJ Tucker as a rookie, and then just put his shoulder in his chest as a rookie, one of the strongest players, and moved PJ Tucker out the way.
Yep. Yeah.
That's when you knew, like, this boy is strong.
Yeah, he's strong, bro. He's strong.
If he's anything, he's strong.
RJ Barrett is like RoboCop. Anybody ever seen that movie RoboCop? That's RJ Barrett. And I love RJ, by the way. I'm joking with RJ, man. I love RJ. But my thing is with RJ, man. I think at some point, we may have to consider a Ruben Patterson type move.
Oh no!
Yeah,
not Ruben.
Yeah, we may have to consider.
I mean, Ruben was a pretty good defender, though. I don't think I ever quantify RJ as a good defender, even though he called himself the Kobe stopper. He was no Kobe stopper.
He was no Kobe stopper.
But it's one of those things that like athletes use to hype themselves up to make them think they were
Yeah.
doing something. It's kind of like one of those things. I remember when PJ Tucker was going against Kevin Durant in the playoffs, and PJ Tucker was just hyping himself up, even though Kevin Durant was still getting like 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a certain mentality. You have to, even though you know you get flamed,
Yeah.
you are the meat shield. You have to be thrown out there
Yeah.
to do something.
Yo, how did that team not win a national championship?
The
A
Texas team,
yeah, with you know who their point guard was, right?
um, who was it?
Corey Joseph.
Oh, it was Corey Joseph.
Yeah.
Damn it! I saw Corey Joseph got signed by the Warriors. It's unbelievable how long he's lasted.
Yeah. Yeah.
That Kevin Durant was a machine. College.
Kevin Durant with bro, man.
But it's one of those things, Freezy. Even though Kevin Durant is a machine, he doesn't. I don't think it might be throwing salt, but I don't think he makes like his teammates better.
I disagree, bro. I disagree because it's like rocking with Dre, right? People will say Dre doesn't make his teammates better. Okay, but Dre makes it so easy for his teammates to exist,
Right.
that Dre is gonna call for a triple team every time he touch it. Dre is gonna get a triple team, right? So if you're an NBA player and you can't beat a man 1-on-1, or if you can't knock down a wide open shot, that's not Dre's fault, bro.
It's not. It's
You know
not
what I'm
Drake's
saying?
fault. I'll say this, but I feel like because of all the gravity he does have, he doesn't weaponize it as much as the other greats, if that makes sense.
Well,
Because he's only being compared to top 15 players, because that's the territory he's in, right?
let me ask this. Oh, I already know the answer. I'm just gonna say it out loud to make myself laugh. Is LeBron James a better scorer than Kevin Durant?
Not in
No.
terms of moves, no.
No. Kevin Durant might be the greatest scorer
Pure
we've
scoring
ever
machine.
seen. Yep,
Yeah,
we've ever seen outside of Michael Jordan. Because Kevin Durant is going to score from everywhere and anywhere in any type of way against any defense, against any team on any night ever. Right?
Crazy. He shot 56% from the field last year. Granted, it was like almost 50 games, like a little bit under 50,
Yeah, yeah.
but 50 on like the
For a
overwhelming
wing
majority
player.
on jumpers.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't like Zion getting his 60% on dunks and layups and getting
Put back.
fouled.
Yeah.
Like it's him scoring 15 feet to 18 feet,
It's him isoing against your best ISO defender.
and he's not seeing
And every night he is going, say, 11 for 17 from the floor. You know what I'm saying?
on jumpers.
Off jumpers, yes. This dude
That is
every
actually.
night.
I feel you gotta feel helpless when you playing against him. Like you could be playing textbook perfect defense, and
Yep.
it doesn't
You
matter.
remember the night that I think Kevin Durant said something about the Knicks, and Julius Randle was guarding Kevin Durant, and Durant missed like his first
They had him mic'd up.
6 shots. I
You
think
talking about it that night when he had him mic'd up and Randall was talking mad
we
with him?
played him in Brooklyn. It was in
think so.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think that was the night, and Randall took the bait because he hit like a couple shots, and then he started talking to Durant,
Yeah.
and then you look up at the
And
end of the
Durant
game,
hit like 11 straight shots.
it's like that's like when you run into a pool shark freezing and you don't know it.
Yeah. And then and the thing is Kyrie was carrying the Nets for a little while, right? Kyrie was out there laughing, like getting his buckets, and Randall was because Randall did the same thing to Giannis too. By the way, there was a night Giannis missed like this season. I think it was the first Bucks game where Giannis missed like his first 7 shots, and Giannis big ass was crying to the ref. Hey, I'm the MVP, man. Yo, when y'all ask me about the Bucks, so I don't have respect for the Bucks, bro. I just don't, bro. I just can't. I've seen it too often, bro. The Knicks are in their jerseys. Their offensive system is predictable. It's like watching Tom Tibbetts. It's like the Spider-Man meme where Spider-Man is like
It's like
Tibbs
you
and
do what we
Budenholzer.
do, and but their principle is we just gonna have everybody out the paint. Let Giannis do what he got.
Yeah,
It's like the immovable force against the unstoppable object,
yeah,
or is it unstoppable force against the immovable object?
yeah,
That's what it is.
yeah. They wound up beating us because Brooke Lopez was
Is in
started
a,
knocking down threes in the corner, and Mitch wouldn't get
Evan
out there.
Fournier and Evan Fournier wants to help off of shooters.
Uh,
People wonder why Evan Fournier got benched. There's like multiple examples from that game alone why he should have.
right.
That man
Right.
was coming over to help for no reason.
Yo, why are you helping on Grayson Allen, bro? Really?
He ran
You
over
wanna
to
help
put
on
one
Javon
foot in the
Carter?
paint like he about to, that reset the counter for three in the key. Like, what are you doing? Every time he did it, they hit an open three. I think it happened like 3 times in the fourth quarter.
Right, right. And then they telling him, no, don't do it. He's like, okay, I got it. And then go right back and do the same thing. Bro, oh my
He's
God.
he's trying to do the things that like 3 and D wings can do because they cover so much ground.
Right, right.
And it's like it's so funny. Tibbs implements a system that would be utilized much better by 3 and D wings, but he don't like he a chubby chin. He don't like them. He don't like long, wingy athletes,
No,
rangy
no,
athletes. Like
no.
on paper, he would love Terry Eason, but in
Yeah,
reality, Terry Eason would not play for 2 years.
I would love, man. Earlier I was talking to the Queen.
I was watching.
I thought the Houston traded him for some reason, but
No, no,
it
no.
was
It was Usman Garuba and Tata.
right, right. And when I was like, God dog it. If I'm the Knicks, I'm still interested in some Tari Eason, bro.
I'm gonna say this reason. There's gonna be some casualties from OKC. They're gonna get rid of some young talent that
Yeah.
not Isaiah Roby, but better
No.
talent than Isaiah Roby.
No, I think it's gonna be your what's the dude, the 7 foot dude that's like 190 pounds.
Pokachevsky.
Yeah, him, Kenrick Williams. Because
Carragher's a little bit older though. He's pushing 30. He's like 28.
so it don't matter if they lose him.
Cameron
Basically-
Williams is the type of player that would play well in Miami or something like that.
Yeah.
And that other the guy he caught a body in the summer league.
Geez, I know who you're talking
Guy you
about.
got a man crush on.
Trey Man.
Trey Man.
Yeah.
He could go somewhere and be like Anthony Simons or something for you.
I know. I would love to get him and Anthony Simons, bro. You know me.
That's
The only
too much
thing better.
athleticism for Freezie. I mean, that's too much athleticism for Tibbs, man.
Y'all out here dunking. I get hit tips now.
It's like do it the old-fashioned way. Just lay it up.
Just lay it up with 2 hands off the glass, off the square. Oh my God, Tim.
Don't palm the basketball. Dribble it like the older days. Ball hand on top of the ball.
Yeah, pat the ball. Oh my God, man. Yeah. Oh my God, bro. I remember Miss Joyce told me that. She was like, "There's no such thing as dribbling. Babies dribble. You have to pat it." Yeah. Oh my God, Mr. Yeah, I never forget, bro. This is like 1975. Man, I was like,
Oh, they was calling a travel for everything back in them days.
everything, bro. Everything.
You
Everything,
use your
bro.
offhand to wipe your face. Travel.
Travel, bro. This is, I'm telling you, the gym teacher was teaching you how to shoot free throws underhanded, bro. No lie. Yo.
And he's probably like the best free throw shooter right now. Shoots it underhanded. You think you better than?
You think you're better than Rick Barry? I mean, no, I'm not better than Rick Barry, but you know, yeah, man. But yeah, man, Trey Man, I could say that, but this organization won't ever trade for Trey Man. Trey Man will
Oh,
probably wind up going somewhere like San Antonio, right?
oh
Somebody
my
somewhere that'll
God.
be patient with him, and then you know what I'm saying. Next thing you know, you're like, hey, yo, man, how did Trey Man make the All Star team? Like DeJounte Murray, right?
Oh man.
You like, yo, how did DeJounte Murray get this good?
And then you just pop out. They like Dejounte Murray was there when Kawhi was there. That's how long he was there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He was
yeah,
there when Kawhi was destroying the Warriors in the playoffs. On the
yeah.
bench watching, not
Right.
playing, but he was there.
But he was there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No lie, man. Yeah, yo, and with Dejounte
Freezy, if you
Murray,
look at OKC roster, it don't make sense how much young talent they got on that team, Freezy.
right, yep,
I'm,
yep,
they got Jared Butler.
yep. Who did they get him from? Utah, right?
Yeah, you tried to let him. I think he had some health issues. I believe.
He had the heart condition coming
Yeah,
out.
the heart. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
They got Usman Jang, who's probably not playing next year,
No,
even though he's showing signs.
yeah.
They got Usman Garuba, but I don't think he has a place in this league
No, he
right
ain't
now.
gonna play. He gonna take Kenrick Williams' spot.
Keontae Johnson is a problem. Man,
Them in Orlando, bro. Every time I see their rosters, I get so jelly.
and it's like they're hitting like he's an older player that got drafted too,
Yeah,
but so was Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams was 21 when he got drafted,
yeah, yeah,
but they're hitting on these guys that are like they're getting, and that's kind of like a knock where they would fall in the draft a little bit because they're a little bit older,
yeah.
but they figured out or have a defined skill set for the
Right.
next level.
Or they'll fall because they're such an unknown commodity that a Josh
Um,
Giddey will fall. You know what I'm saying? You're like, why did Josh Giddey go 6 again?
or people are like, oh, it's the Australian League. Who cares, man?
Yeah, yeah. Because now when you look at Josh Giddey, is Josh Giddey better than Jalen Suggs?
Yes.
Yes.
Not even. You got to think about it. Jalen Suggs down there in the Miami looking like Josh Hart running point guard.
Or Orlando. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking like Josh Hart. Yep.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Orlando had Josh Giddey last year?
Josh Giddey at the point
Right.
with
Getting all,
Paolo.
getting all the point guard reps by himself.
Oh my God, that would be a night. Imagine trying to get to the paint with all them trees back there, man.
Bro, can you imagine a backcourt of him and Franz Wagner?
Him, Franz, Paolo.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh man, just
It just
I'll say this at least they didn't do that because we would probably be worse than them very soon.
that's why I'm saying, bro. When I do Grimes for Jalen Suggs right now, would you do Grimes for Jalen Suggs?
No.
I would. Them heartbeat done.
Well, do you think Tibbs would? I mean, you think Tibbs would use Jalen Suggs correctly because Jalen Suggs needs the on ball reps in order to
I
hit
think
his
I
ceiling.
think Jalen Suggs' defense is going to be
I think
Marcus
his-
Smartish.
Yeah, yeah. But his jump shot is very far,
His jump
far,
shot is
far
also
away.
Marcus Smartish.
And then some of it is Marcus Smart has terrible shot selection.
Yeah. Yeah.
This kid, he'll take open shots. It's just he's missing them.
Yeah.
He's not close.
And I like Grimes, by the way. But
His ceiling is higher than Grimes. I'll say that
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. You know, ultimately, man, I know the Knicks aren't going to do anything. It's my frustration. It's why when 2K comes out, I'm just going to rebuild the Knicks in my own image.
And win the title in what, 2 years?
Yeah. Like I think the Knicks can win a title this year. I honestly think the Knicks could win the title this year if we upgrade the small forward position.
I agree.
If the small forward
But
position
this is
upgrades
why
itself.
I was like the Paul George thing is very plug and play.
Right. Right. Because
You don't even got to think about how it would actually fit. You just know this would patch multiple holes in terms of what we do.
right.
The lack of a big on ball playmaker,
Right.
a consistent one, lack of a switchable, rangy defender that you can throw on elite wings, elite.
Right.
Those two holes, a lack of a consistent shooter from the wing,
Right.
catch and shoot or off the dribble. He just patches so many holes off the rip, just floor balancing and all.
And Paul George will come here and not have to be the man.
And he doesn't want to.
Right. He can come here and be.
You know, it's funny though. All them LA dudes want to just go to LA though. Harden, Westbrook, Kawhi, PG. They just want to. Like,
there's no way James Harden's going to the Clippers, bro.
He wants to, but I don't.
The Clippers don't have anything left in the cupboard.
They don't got nothing.
Right.
I mean, they what they trying to do is offer Morris and like Powell or something.
They have to
Still
get a
nobody
third
wants
team involved, bro.
And even then, it's just like,
Even if you get the Knicks involved, right? Even if you get the Knicks involved, right? Say Harden to the Clippers and whatever bad contract the Clippers
would you take
have.
Powell back? You would take Powell back.
Norm Powell?
Yeah, no Powell.
No.
You wouldn't take him back?
No. Nah. Are we sending another 6'4" guard their way?
Is it? Is he? I thought he was. Oh, he's like 6'4", 6'5". He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't got to tell him to shoot though. That's the thing.
No, but then,
Grimes is like, do I shoot? Do I shoot?
yeah. I mean, I like Norm Powell, bro. I think he's a starter,
Yeah,
right?
Starter on the right situation.
But the thing is
It's what makes it worth our while.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because the whole for them to even get Harden is to keep Paul George.
Right.
They want to make a super team. They don't want to get rid of Paul George in the process to get Harden because they would just get worse of it at that point.
Yeah.
Defeat the whole purpose. But what is it that you want from them? Like BJ Boston?
I like BJ Boston, bro.
I do like him from the skill set, but Tibbs ain't gonna play that one.
Tibbs ain't gonna because he's Cam Reddish-ish.
Yeah,
sometimes.
He's it's like super smooth athlete, can score, but it's like the consistency.
His defense is, the thing I noticed about him is his defense can be elite and terrible in the same game.
But that's like it's ball watching.
Yeah,
a lot of it is ball watching and not holding up like when you're on defense, especially for a Tibbs team. There's integrity. You're on a string,
right?
And once you become too focused on watching the ball, everything breaks down, and then someone else ends up looking terrible because you're not pulling up your end of the bargain.
Right. It's like when I saw RJ and Obi Toppin arguing underneath the rim, and Obi was like, "Yo, that was your responsibility. You're supposed to be protecting the rim." RJ Barrett's like, "What?" I knew Obi was gone, bro. I knew Obi was gone, bro. Yeah, I knew Obi was gone, bro.
Tibbs ain't never really liked that man anyway, so
right.
It is what it is, man. I'm just thinking about like prospective moves or what we could do, and I'm thinking about it. If we do make a move, Freezie is gonna be before the trade deadline. It's not gonna be anytime soon.
No, we ain't making no move, bro. I can almost.
Man,
listen, man, I'm willing to bet
right
you
now.
a steak dinner that a major move, and I'm not being subjective.
Ruth Chris?
How much is Ruth Chris? How much is it expensive?
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about like, bro, I'm talking about a cheap steak dinner, bro. I'm talking like $40 and under. I'm talking like a Waffle House steak.
I mean, to be absolutely honest, you could get a damn good steak out in North Carolina for $40. Not up here though. But
Yeah,
Out there,
man.
you can get a damn good steak out there for 40.
Where do you think the cows come from, bro?
To the south,
We right here. We right
it
here,
ain't
bro.
too far.
Yeah, yeah. But I'd be willing to bet you a steak dinner that a significant move is not going to be done until they get their front office get their contract extension.
So who actually decides who gets the contract? James Dolan.
Dolan, yeah,
So James Dolan's got to be like, yo, all right, you gonna get your checks on the 1st and the 15th. Do what you got to do.
right, okay, yeah. I'm saying like so it might coincide with the trade deadline, right? Because they're going into their 4th year, right?
Is that's they're expiring next year, huh? Or is it the year after that?
No, this is their 4th off season.
Mhm.
This is their 4th league year. So I'm thinking you won't hear anything until around January.
Oh, he has a 5-year contract for you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When did he get into office for you?
March of 2020. March of
Okay.
2021. I'm sorry.
Ooh, then he still has some time, Freezie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Well, at least Leon Rose does. Everyone else, I don't know.
Yeah, nah. You can't look at it like that because remember that league year that came in was cut short.
Right. So there was 2 seasons essentially
Yeah,
that
yeah,
year.
and remember the draft, the quickly Obi draft didn't happen until November.
Oh, right. So he has like a year and a half left.
So he's got like yeah, yeah, basically in theory,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah.
He's
And
trying
Tibbs was
to lock
hired
in
in
that,
July.
trying to get that extension.
Yeah, so why make a major move, right? And
When I'm
then
not
see,
secured.
yeah, yeah. So say for instance he trades for Joel Embiid, right? And then it gets off to a rocky start, right? Say the Knicks are 30-30 with Joel Embiid.
Then they get fired and someone else gets to reap the rewards of all the
Yep,
hard work they put in.
yep, yep.
It's like,
Yeah,
what did we even do it for? I didn't even get my next check
right,
for the next 3-4 years, man.
right. Because Joel Embiid is going to be Joel Embiid. That from what people are telling me, like people are trying to sell me this wolf ticket of they're trying to wait for the perfect star,
I'm
and
like,
all
what's perfect star is better than the most recent MVP?
and we all know there's no such thing as a perfect star. There's no such thing as a perfect star, bro.
Michael Jordan on the market?
Nah, Mike wasn't a perfect star either. Because you know nobody. There's no such thing as a perfect star, bro. Bird,
Well, Gatorade and Nike made me think he was perfect. My bad.
yeah. And then when you think about the perfect star, think about this: the perfect star, Michael Jordan, has a losing record in the playoffs without Scottie Pippen, and a below 500 record in the regular season without Scottie Pippen.
Damn.
Yep. Yep. Losing record in the playoffs
Top
and
75 player,
yep.
by the way.
So when I think Mike, I think Mike and Scotty together.
You know, it's
Like when I
funny for
think
you. I can almost see why Scottie Pippen is salty after all these years
right
because they almost put him as a footnote, like he wasn't nothing.
after all these years, and all Mike had to do was say, all Michael Jordan had to do was come out of his mouth and say, "No, Scotty was important." That's all Mike had to say. He had to say Scotty was the GOAT. All he had to say, no, Scotty was important. And none of that conversation would have ever existed.
But because he didn't, Scotty had to go to like Portland and all these other places to find validation within his
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
and get paid too because they robbed him
In
out of
Chicago.
a ton of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But from an organizational standpoint, it was a hell of a deal.
Yeah. And Scotty got a lot of money. He just didn't get the money he deserved. Like Scotty was getting all-star money, but he should have been getting Scottie Pippen money. But
mega star money because that's what he
right,
was.
right, right. But yo, I'm gonna say this before I get out of here, before we wrap up, right? Of all the stars that we ever named on this show and all the conversations we had,
Hmm.
you notice the only one that did it basically by themselves is Patrick Ewing. That's why I say Patrick Ewing is the greatest center to ever play.
Mm.
Right? Because people will say, no, Bill Russell was better than Pat Ewing. Oh, really?
You mean in a league full of like 12 teams?
And they had the best roster in it. They had like 8
There
Hall of
was no
Famers
such
off
thing
that
as
one.
a salary cap at the time.
Right.
They just they bought who they wanted.
Right. And then Wilt Chamberlain played with Hal Greer. And then he went to the Lakers and played with the logo Jerry West and Gail Goodrich and I forget Elgin Baylor, right? Elijah Wan played with Ralph Sampson. Man, Elijah Wan was on
He
really
failed with a. I would say the title he did win. It was about time because he failed with a lot of talent before then.
yeah.
Like he was favored in a lot of years and was losing to like the Jazz and stuff.
Yeah. 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 And forget I give you another example. Shaquille O'Neal is not better than Patrick Ewing all time.
Mm.
Right? And people will say, well, Shaquille O'Neal did such and such. Shaquille O'Neal had one prime season without an elite point guard. That's when Scott Brooks was the point guard. Shaq averaged like 23 points a game. Pat Ewing averaged 23 points a game with Doc Rivers at point guard.
Yeah, it was
Right.
28, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then after Scott Brooks, I mean not Scott Brooks, the other coach, not Scott Brooks. I keep saying Scott Brooks.
Scott
Scott
Skiles, he played with
Scott Skiles, yeah. Yeah.
because he did have the NBA record for like most assists.
For assists. Yeah. All he did was have to give it to Shaq. Just give it to Shaq. Bro, all you gotta do is give it to Shaq. Bro, but the other thing too about Shaq though is think about all the great guards Shaq played with, and then we compare him to Pat Ewing, right?
Oh,
So
man.
Shaq played with Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, right? Pat Ewing played with what's my man name?
Derek
Darryl
Harper.
Walker, Doc Rivers, and Derek Harper.
And then his I guess running mate was a very hot and cold player.
Right. Think about David Robinson, man. David Robinson played with Sean Elliott and Tim Duncan and Rod Strickland. Right. When you think about all the centers that people say that are better than, all the centers that people say it's better than Pat Ewing, all I have to do is say Pat
Freezie,
Ewing's main point guard was Doc Rivers, bro.
Freezie, if Pat Ewing 94, 95 Pat Ewing got to play with like 98, 99 Allen and Latrell, we would be having different conversations. He was an old broken down man at that point.
Right. Right. And what I'm telling you is point guards were available and the Knicks wouldn't go get them. The Knicks could have had Mark Price.
Were they being cheap?
Nah, they were just being stupid.
So where did they allocate the money to?
Bro, they just bro.
What was like a terrible contract they were giving out?
Bro, did you see how last season played out for us when we were giving Derrick Rose and Fournier all that money to sit
they had empty cap on the bench. Just
basically they paying like they would go out and get like 4 power forwards in the offseason. Terry Cummins, Buck Williams, Herb Williams.
Draft the power forward too.
Yeah, and pay all those dudes starter money, right? And then they wouldn't even play. Right? And you're like, yo, why you play? Yo, why are you paying Chris Dudley almost as much as you paying Pat? That's why Pat is mad.
That's looking at Pat mad, bro. See Chris Dudley getting dunked on by Shaq.
Yes. And what are you doing with a guard number anyway, Chris Dudley? Chris Dudley, I had back in the day where all the bigs was wearing like 33 34, 32, 50.
Chris Dudley looked like a supersized insurance salesman.
Yes. You know what? Because he was a supersized insurance salesman, bro. And he went to Yale. You would think he'd be smart enough to get out of the way. Bro, I'm saying like the hate on Patrick Ewing is so ridiculous sometimes. Like people are like, yo, man, Pat Ewing is not better than Moses Malone. Okay. Pat Ewing is not better than Moses Malone. I'll give you that one, right? But Moses Malone also played with Calvin Murphy. Basically,
Dr. J.
Yeah, he also played with Dr. J, right? But basically, who Calvin Murphy is Jalen Brunson. When you see Jalen Brunson, that same style, the same style of is Calvin Murphy. That's who Jalen Brunson plays like a little buzzy bee, like a little irritant that you can't stop. Right? He ain't gonna dunk on you. He ain't gonna shoot a bunch of threes. He just gonna probe and all that stuff. He gonna get his shot.
He gives you the impression you can stop him, but you really can't.
Right. Calvin Murphy. That's what Jalen Brunson did. If Pat would have played with Jalen Brunson, he'd probably have 3 championships. Yeah, lie, bro.
Just a reliable perimeter scorer.
Right.
Like a guy that could you don't have to think about it. You pencil him in for 20 on decent efficiency. Right. Whereas John Starks, he might get you that 20 on 19 shots.
And the reason why Starks was inconsistent is because the point guard position was inconsistent. If Starks could only, because Starks was a combo guard, a 6'3". Think Emmanuel Quickly, bro.
Yeah.
That's Starks. Same situation and everything. Like Quickly, there's a point guard in front of Quickly right now, and looks like he's blocked. You might have to move him to the 2. All of it, that's Starks. Same role Starks took, right? Undersized, had to guard up, elite level defense, all the stuff. Starks was that, right? But Pat, when guys think, man, it is so unfair to Pat Ewing, bro, that even Bill Laimbeer at center had help offensively with Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Mark Aguirre, Adrian Danley.
People putting Bill Laimbeer in that conversation, Freezie?
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
Even Rick Smits, a dude told me Rick Smits was better than Pat.
Oh God.
Really? What if Rick Smits was never tripled or double teamed because one of the greatest shooters of all time was wide open for 3? Pat would average 47 points a game.
You talking about the Davis brothers that are also there to be enforcers.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like
even I was even told that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is better than Pat Ewing. Right. I don't think it's true. I think Pat is better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, right. That is I'll say this. I think Kareem is like a top 3 player though.
Right.
All time.
Right. Because Kareem
man, off accolades, of course. But right. You're talking about the skill aspect. Yeah, how great were you individually?
And I'm here to tell you that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a compiler. He was great.
I mean, he did play like 22 years.
He was absolutely great in his prime years, right? But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the number 1 pick coming out of a prestigious university, right? So was Patrick Ewing, right? Right. Kareem was like the number 1 pick center out of UCLA.
Prohibitive number 1 by a wide margin.
Yeah.
There was no doubt Patrick Ewing was going to go number 1.
Pat Ewing, the Hoya Destroyer, there was no doubt. Nobody was going ahead of Pat, bro. Nobody was going ahead of Pat, especially in a center era. Nah, man, ain't nobody going ahead of Pat Ewing. Especially when the number 1 pick was a big man like 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row. I mean, come on.
Freezie, mentioned this stat. Freezie, it was either for 37 years, it was either a power forward or a center drafted in the NBA
with the number 1 pick
outside of Allen Iverson for 37 straight years.
Yep. Pat Ewing was just that good, bro. Pat Ewing was so good that modern NBA centers were patterning their game after Patrick Ewing.
You could look at DeAndre Ayton, his whole game is on offense. That is ripped
Yeah,
from Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing.
Everything he does, short roll, catch the ball face up,
Yep.
hook shot from either hand, 50-foot jumper.
The reverse spin, fadeaway baseline. That's Pat. Right. Right. Pump fake.
Mixing a little bully ball here and there.
Yep. Put the ball on the floor, right hand, just straight right hand, pounding it, going to the rim, dunking. That's Pat.
The funny thing is, Patrick Ewing could have just done the bully ball thing, but he wanted to show you that he was skilled.
Yo, he did a pull up. Did a pull up on Alonzo Mourning one time, and Alonzo Mourning's momentum was going so far that when you watch the shot, Zoe is not even in the picture.
frame.
Yep. He just abruptly pulled up and just shot the ball, and Alonzo Mourning just kept going to the rim, and he looked back and laughed and just got in rebound position.
It's like you watch Embiid, that's what you're watching right there.
Yep.
Except Patrick Ewing would have been taking threes in his era.
Yeah, Pat would have been taking about 7 threes a game in this era. Easy. Easy 7 threes. And now that you can't hand check, if
30.
If
Embiid averaged 33 last year, Freezie. Pat is getting the same 33.
Easy. Except Pat was probably been more efficient. Pat would have been more efficient, and Pat would have had more rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is Pat crossed up Mutombo and dunked on Mutombo left-handed, right? Like he was going right, and then this wide pterodactyl wingspan like crossover go around, and he dunk on Mutombo with the other hand, and look at Mutombo in the face, and jog back down the floor. And Mutombo's like, what? He gonna beat me with that all night because I can't understand the move. Like he beat Mutombo with a move that Mutombo legit in his mind couldn't.
Because he's like so used to guys taking off with his particular foot and then going up with the other hand.
Yeah. He hit Mutombo with a move that his mind couldn't process. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
That was some Giannis stuff where Giannis takes off the wrong foot.
Yeah.
And finishes.
Yeah. Patrick Ewing dunked on Andrew Lang so bad. Again, I think Andrew Lang was playing for the Phoenix Suns, I think. I think he would, him and a dude named Mark West. Pat Ewing dunked so much in this game against Phoenix one year, right, that they had to put a wall up. Like they legit just put the
Giannis wall?
Well, I guess so. They put a wall up. They were like, don't let Patrick Ewing get by us. They legit had to put a wall up because centers back then were like muscle men. They're not like athletes now. Like the dudes now, they're ripped and shredded, but they're like athletically ripped. Back then, dudes were just like muscle men, like big dudes. You know what I'm saying?
They were just lifting weights. They weren't doing all the other stuff, plyometrics and all that other stuff.
No, they weren't doing that. They look like Johnny Bravo, bro.
Just barrel chested.
Yes. Yeah. And Pat dunked on Mark West so hard and so repeatedly. Like Mark West just laughed and slapped Pat on the butt. He's like, what in the name of competition is it? When a dude has your number so bad, there's nothing you could do. All you could do is just, hey, good job, man.
Hey, look, just gotta salute it.
Yeah, bro. Pat Ewing was so great in his prime years from about 88 to about 93. Pat was probably the third best player in the NBA.
Yeah, it was like Jordan,
Barkley, Pat. And then everybody, then it was like 4 through 17. Yeah, you talking about, and yes, I'm including Shaq. Because Shaq was good in Orlando, but Shaq was great with the Lakers though, bro.
Yeah. That he stepped to a different level around 98, 99, 2000. And that also coincided with his running mate making his life easier.
Yeah.
Whereas there was no running mate making.
Yeah.
I'm looking, Freezie. I'm looking at Patrick Ewing's 89-90 stats. This stuff doesn't make sense. for that era, and it was a slow down era.
Yeah.
He shot 55% from the field,
Right.
20 shots a game, 28 points per game,
Yeah.
11 rebounds, 4 blocks.
Yeah. And the thing that you leave out is like Pat might have shot the ball 20 times a game, but you can best believe he was triple teamed all night.
He shot 8 free throws a game.
Bro, and when I say
77% from the free throw line.
when I say that,
It's
man,
the modern big before the modern big.
bro, I'm telling you what they would do is they would put their center on Pat. Say it's Olajuwon. They would bring Olajuwon, right? And as soon as Pat put his foot on the box,
Somebody
Otis
coming.
Thorpe would leave his man, right? And back then, there was a such thing called illegal defense, right? But as soon as the ball was in the air, as soon as you made the post pass, the guard passed the ball into the post, Otis Thorpe was there already, right? So Pat had to either make a move or pass the ball out. What Pat would do,
That's where that fadeaway baseline jumper came from.
right, or put the ball on the floor and beat both of them off the dribble and go to the rack and either dunk it or go to the free throw line.
Right.
Man, bro, I saw Pat, man, I saw Pat pump fake one time, bro. We was in New Jersey. It's a place called Brendan Byrne Arena, right? Pat Ewing pump faked. Everybody in the arena jumped out their seat, bro. Pat faked out everybody in the whole gym. Bro, Pat was that dude, bro. That's what I'm saying. Is Pat better than Shaq? Yes. Right? Because Shaq played with he played with Penny Hardaway, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade, bro.
All of them in their prime.
Yeah,
Or about to arrive to their prime.
Right, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the one you said he might be the greatest. He played with Oscar Robertson and Magic Johnson, bro, and Norm Nixon.
The big game, James.
Yeah, he played with all these dudes, bro. You know what I'm saying? All these dudes that we say is better than Pat, bro. If it's say for instance, one of the best point guards in the game. Okay, say for instance, Pat Ewing had. Do you remember the name?
He
Kevin
played with
Johnson?
Oscar Robertson.
Kareem did.
Yeah, good Jamal Wilkes.
Yes,
Adrian Dantley.
bro. I'm telling you, bro. All these dudes. Kareem played on
Gail
loaded
Goodrich.
stacks. Yeah,
Bob Dandridge.
yeah, yeah. Bobby Dandridge. Yeah, this dude played with all those dudes, bro. Can you imagine? Who's the best old school point guard you remember? Like, say from the 80s and 90s.
From the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I guess I'd have to consider what's his name? Utah Jazz.
Gary Payton. Let's say Gary Payton.
I would say okay, Gary Payton. But I was gonna consider
John Stockton.
I
Man,
guess but compiler, but he was great in his way.
If Pat Ewing and John Stockton were together, they'd have 7 championships, bro.
Imagine that pick and roll was somebody that like the reason why Karl Malone won them MVPs is because his jumper became consistent. But Pat had that in the middle of his prime.
Right.
Smack dab in the middle of his athletic prime. He had all the skill.
And Pat Ewing as the role man, bro. If Pat Ewing is the role man, first of all, you got to come up and play Pat tight. And if you do, he was going to beat you in a foot race to the rim and catch lobs and dunk. Right?
Sag off. It's a 15-footer.
He gonna shoot the J.
15 to 18 feet.
He gonna jimmy you to death, bro. Bro. You couldn't guard Pat, bro. You couldn't guard Pat. Pat is so criminally underrated.
Why didn't they see it through with Mark Jackson?
Man, listen, the Mark Jackson story is as years go by, people romanticize Mark Jackson, bro.
Or the other guard.
Or Rod Strickland.
Yeah. Either way, but one of them had to stick as far as the
thing with Rod Strickland is Rod Strickland was more naturally talented.
Yeah,
but Rod Strickland at the time was a street dude. He was always Ron Artest.
Yeah.
mentally, right?
Plus, it's from the area
yeah,
or already in the area, and plus at the time, like there was no social media, so there was a lot of
right.
like things that
They
you
had to
weren't
get him out
seeing
of New
getting
York,
away.
bro.
Yeah. What they sent to
They
Portland,
San Antonio for
San
Doc
Antonio. Okay. Yeah.
Doc Rivers, I think.
Okay.
Right. But my thing is Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson used to always come into training camp fat and out of
Fat.
shape.
Yep. Oh, I forgot like that.
And in the playoffs, he would always choke. You had to have a veteran point guard with Mark Jackson in the playoffs.
Because he wasn't really a score. He wasn't. He didn't have the capability to consistently score at that point.
Right. Right.
His jumper wasn't that.
And people think Mark Jackson, we like, yo, why'd you trade Mark Jackson? He was young. No, Mark Jackson. When we traded Mark Jackson ass was like 26, 27.
Because when you look up the statistics, oh, he's top whatever in assists.
Yeah.
But he's still not in the Hall of Fame. So.
Yeah, because he's a compiler. He's not a Mark Jackson wasn't a difference maker. We traded him to the Clippers for Charles Smith. That's all we can get for Mark Jackson was Charles Smith. And so that should tell everybody what you need to know right then. The only thing we can get for him, Charles Smith.
See, that's the context I was missing. Like the idea of Mark Jackson was romanticized before.
Yeah, they romanticize Mark Jackson because he is a charismatic dude. He's from the city. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of highlight plays, a lot of buzz plays, all that stuff. But Mark Jackson with the Knicks, he was all right, but he wasn't like, oh my God, you're trading Jalen Brunson. Nah, Mark Jackson wasn't that.
He was a solid starting point guard.
Yeah, Mark Jackson was Baron Davis, like a 30-something Baron Davis. You remember Baron Davis in his 30s? That was Mark Jackson.
Where he post up or bully smaller guards and
Ray Felton. That's who. If you remember Ray Felton, that's who Mark Jackson was with us.
Yeah.
Like occasional good game and all that stuff. But
little 14 and 7, 14 and 8.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah, something along those lines. And I'm not to diminish what Mark Jackson did as a Knick, but he wasn't a difference maker like that with the Knicks. Pat Ewing was a difference maker. You feel me? Pat Ewing. Now, should we have brought in Mo Cheeks? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we traded Rod Strickland for Mo Cheeks, right? But should we have traded? Should we have brought in Mo Cheeks and Doc Rivers and
DSJ
Derek
said
Harper?
something very funny and offensive. I do not want a Glenn Rivers jersey. I'm good, DSJ. I'm good on that Glenn Rivers.
Yeah, man.
And Mitchell and Ness, you spent $200 on that, DSJ? Crazy.
On a Mitchell and Ness Doc Rivers jersey? You
said on the Mitchell and Ness jersey?
Yeah, man.
But when you were mentioning, you was traded for. You mentioned Mo Cheeks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Twin Towers where Ralph Simpson lit up Jerry Feasting.
Jerry Feasting, yeah. Yeah, I remember Jerry Feasting. Yeah. Yeah, Ralph Sampson was very Victor Wembanyama-ish.
He was a little bit ahead of his time, I guess.
Yeah. Ralph Sampson hit Pat Ewing with a crossover in the open court, and Pat Ewing knees knocked together, bro. And you like when you saw that, you were like, "Yeah, Ralph Sampson is different, bro. Ralph Sampson is different." At 7'4", the dude's like 7'4 and a half, about 220, but could jump out the gym.
Salute Anthony D.
Oh, here come Anthony D with old school Knicks talk. Man, hey, I don't know why we started talking about old school Knicks stuff, because now here come Anthony D. The first thing out of his mouth gonna be Bernard King, bro. Bernard King.
A Henry Ellison jersey.
Yeah, man, bro. Yo, people are still buying.
Anthony D not gonna let you get away with the Mark Jackson slander.
No, Mark Jackson fat ass was not a difference maker. Mark Jackson fat ass was a sandwich maker. How about that? Mark Jackson was not a difference maker, bro. Mark Jackson was a sandwich maker, bro. That's what Mark Jackson was. Yeah, DSJ talking about King Henry. Yo, people are still buying those jerseys too, by the way.
From
I
where?
don't
Where are they making them?
I don't know. I don't know, bro.
I can read everything in Anthony D's voice.
Yeah, Anthony D, bro. First of all, it's not in all caps, so I can't really read it. The font is too small.
It's
Usually,
missing it's missing like the ellipses, like a couple dots because he speaks with a cadence.
yeah, yeah.
You, sir, know nothing about basketball.
He talking about Pat Ewing before Mark Jackson. Get out of here, bro. Nah, bro. I ain't no. I'm not giving no. I'm not no. That dude, Mark Jackson is an Indiana Pacer, bro.
My earliest memory of actually seeing Mark Jackson was him shimmying on the garden floor.
In them ugly Pacer uniforms.
Oh my God, them pinstripes, them blue and yellow pinstripes.
Right. Man, yeah.
DSJ saying Mark Jackson serving up a Grimes on rye.
Yeah, basically. Eating them, bro. And mustard. Yeah. And Anthony D, I'm gonna say this before I get out here, AD, just real quick, AD. Bernard King is a Washington Bullet. Bernard King is a Washington Bullet.
You want to cuss you out so bad.
Bernard King is a Washington Bullet, sir. Hey, do you want me to drop the link, bro? It's 3:30, bro. We all got to go to sleep. What you doing? Bernard King. I'm going to drop the link just real quick, but I'm going to get out of here, bro. I'm going to just hang out for like 2 minutes, bro. So I can get out of here and get ready for this thing Monday. Bernard King is a Washington Bullet, bro. Bernard King is a Utah Jazz. Bernard King is a Golden State Warrior.
He's not a New York Knick. He's all of those before a Knick.
If he's a Knick, Frank Ntilikina is a Knick.
Kevin Knox.
The number 30 should be retired. Yeah, King Ava said it. If AD, we may as well get out of here, bro, because AD ain't gonna do nothing. Hey, Dre, hey, thanks for coming in and rocking with me, bro.
Salute.
I appreciate it, man. I meant to only
Anytime,
do like
bro.
I only meant to do like an hour, and then before you know it,
Hey, time flies when you're talking Knicks basketball.
yeah, we started talking about Pat Ewing, bro. You know, Pat Ewing is my dog, man. You know what I'm saying? AD talking about he's sacred. I ain't sacred. AD, you said he's sacred? All right, thank y'all for rocking with us, man. We'll holler at y'all later, man.
Peace.